So welcome everyone to this pop-up Move and Breathe with Finesse. Thank you so much for coming. I've got people from all over the world here. Some people signing in from Ireland and Germany and across the States, and of course locally as well near St. Catharines. Thank you so much for coming here. I am a 20-year Guild certified Feldenkrais practitioner, and I specialize in breathing, as many of you know. I'm looking forward to teaching you today and also in my Expanding Flexibility with Finesse this October. The series will involve combining improvements in breathing and flexibility. Your privacy is important to me. You will not be on the screen. I will spotlight myself and others who have given consent. Most of the lesson, you will not need to look at the camera, as this is a personal exploration. Rules of the Feldenkrais method. Movement do no harm. Make movements smaller and slower than you usually do. Pausing and resting between movements is very helpful for learning. So don't rush through things. Take your time. Reflect on how you're feeling. That's what you're looking for. That's where you get the most out of the lesson. So let's get started. I'm delighted to see you all today, and I want to do a screen share of something really important so that you get a visual of what we're doing today. So this is a picture of Dr. Moshe Feldenkrais demonstrating a movement that involves drawing the abdomen upward and expanding the chest, expanding the rib cage. And so it kind of creates a mobilization of that space in your chest to make room for your lungs and for your heart. So this is the idea of what we are doing, we're moving towards. However, people who've had abdominal surgery or have had injuries around their abdomen, you may not feel that kind of contraction, but that's the kind of thing we're looking for today. You may not associate this movement with breathing. However, you'll find that it will improve your capacity and space in your chest. And lung capacity is the theme for my classes for the October series. Regarding lung capacity, a 29-year study at the University of Buffalo showed that pulmonary function was a long-term predictor of overall survival rates. So lists of declining functions include weakening of the diaphragm muscles, poor rib movement, reduced overall flexibility, poor posture, and reduced elasticity of the lung tissue. And we're aiming to counteract some of these issues today. So I would ask you to please lie down on your mat and make sure you have something comfortable under your head. Just give you time to settle into your space. You won't be doing any big rolling around, so you won't need to make lots of room to your sides. You should have something comfortable under your head so that your head isn't tipped too far back. It's a kind of position that you're looking for, support for under your head so that you can breathe easily. Your head's not tipped too far forward or too far back. And just take a moment to feel your breath. How are you breathing today? Where do you sense movement? Put your hand on your chest and your hand on your belly. And just feel, where do you sense movement? And if you're breathing through your mouth, just sense the movement that way. And then switch to your nose and sense the movement through your nose. you will notice a difference. When you breathe through your nose, you might feel more movement in certain places. And then what about your back? Do you feel movement in your back? And then bring your hands to wherever it's comfortable. And bend your knees. Put your feet in a comfortable position, about hip width apart, not too close together, so that you don't have to work hard to keep your legs there. Good. And then begin to do this interesting movement of drawing your abdomen in, almost caving the abdomen in and expanding your chest. Now, just play a little bit with this gently. Be really gentle. So you're going to feel your belly button going in and your chest lifting or getting bigger or wider. We're looking for a lifting, widening sensation. Just do it a few times and notice that when you're doing that movement, how are you breathing? Are you breathing in to make that movement happen? Are you breathing out? Or are you pausing your breath? You're holding your breath. And you could do that movement all those ways. You can do it with an inhale, you can do it with an exhale, or you can hold your breath and make that movement happen. Which way did you pick? Now, I'm going to ask you to try it on the exhale. When you exhale, can you let the abdomen sink inward and upward so that you feel your floating ribs flare? You can even put your hands on your floating ribs. And notice, do you feel that area flaring outward? You can put your hands behind you on your floating ribs or on top, just under, just above your belly button area. And just notice that if you draw your belly in on the exhale, can you feel those ribs popping out? Drawing up and in on the exhale. Now, again, if you've had abdominal surgery, it may be hard to find that movement. Just play a little bit and don't be too forceful. The idea is to feel your ribs expand, get wider, get bigger. Good. And then just pause, rest for a moment. And as you're resting, just lengthen your legs out, bring your arms down to your side, and just notice how you're breathing now. What do you notice with your inhale and your exhale? Is there anything that has changed? And then please roll onto your tummy. So you're going to roll onto your front. You may not need the support for under your head now. And please place your forehead on your hands. So you'll have your hands folded, one on top of the other, palm down. Your hands are palm down, so one hand on top of the other. That's it. There you go. So that you have room for your nose, but your skull is supported. And then from here, your legs outstretched. Just do the same movement of drawing your abdomen in and up, caving that area. You might even feel the belly lifting away from the floor a little bit, getting lighter from the floor. When you're doing that, sense where does the pressure change in your body. When you do that movement, do you feel something in the floating rib where you were touching before, or higher up? Or maybe, you're feeling something in your back. Sometimes when we draw the belly up and in on the exhale, we might feel the back moving a little bit. Just sense that. Be very gentle again. Don't be too forceful. Of drawing the belly up and in, widening, expanding the rib cage on the exhale. You're breathing out, the diaphragm lifts. Feel the diaphragm lifting when you breathe out. And it kind of draws up into the chest cavity. So you're changing the shape of the rib cage and kind of lifting the bottom of that cavity, that space. And then let that go and do a small movement where you roll a little bit onto your right side. So you'll feel the right side of your rib cage. So you might draw your left knee up a little bit, but you'll be on your belly. You stay on your belly and just bring your left knee up so that, and your head can turn to the left. You'll feel a little more pressure on the right side of your chest. That's it. And do the same movement of drawing the belly up and in, widening the rib cage, and feeling whether you notice any pressure in the front of your chest. Somewhere around the breast, or somewhere in the floating ribs, or the sternum. Notice if you feel increased pressure there. And then do the same thing, but on the other side. So you'll turn your head a little to the right. You can roll a little bit onto your left side by drawing your right knee up so that you feel more pressure on the left side of your body. And then doing the same movement of drawing the belly up and in. And feeling the pressure on that side. Is it different? Do you feel anything different there? Feel any newness in the expansion, of course. And if you're seated and you can't get to the floor, you can turn your head. You might feel, if you're resting against something firm, you might feel a change in your back, maybe, if you're seated. And please let that go. Let your legs lengthen out and come to the middle again. And just notice your resting breath. Simply a resting breath, where just notice the movement of the belly, the movement of your chest. And then please roll onto your back and take a moment to feel what it's like to be on your back. You can have your knees bent or straight. And welcome to the pets in the home. I know, what are you going to do? It's funny. Yeah, we do love our pets, but they kind of get in the way sometimes. All right, and just notice your resting breath. Is it different? What do you feel in the movement of your chest, the movement of your belly and your back? Make sure your head is supported if you're lying on your back, that your head is level. Very nice. And then it's always nice, isn't it? Just to take a moment to take care of yourself. In a resting breath, we really are looking for movement everywhere. And everywhere might mean the back, the front, the sides, up and down. Some people feel their breath right into their pelvis. So in a resting breath where there's no resistance, no tightness, we often will feel a full body breath. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes we get tight in places. So just notice if there's new places that you are aware of right now. And then please roll onto your side. So if you're on your side, you might need to double up the support under your head to support your neck. So maybe whatever you've got folded, fold it up, double it up a little bit, so that you can have both arms out in front of you. One hand on top of the other, as if you were clapping. So that's it. You got it. Laying on your side, both hands in front of you, your knees bent. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Either side's fine. And then just rest your top leg a little bit in front of your bottom leg. And make a gentle movement where you bring your arm up to the ceiling. You float your top arm up towards the ceiling. And you can, with your eyes, watch your hand. Just do that bit and come back. And do that a couple of times. Very gently, you're floating your arm up towards the ceiling. And your eyes are following. So you're turning. You're doing a little bit of a turning movement, aren't you? Yeah. Very nice. Now, if you were to go a little bit further, but comfortably further behind you, where would you stop where you could feel a pull? Maybe your knee is coming off the floor a little bit. Okay. Find a place where you can hang out. So you're hanging out somewhere without a stretch, but you will feel that your knee is coming a little bit off the floor. And from there, looking at your hand, begin doing that same movement of drawing your abdomen up and in and widening your chest. And on the exhale, or on a paused breath. But if you pause your breath, you want to be in the exhale state, so your diaphragm is soft and lifted so that you can draw your abdomen up even higher into your chest. And you might feel a shift in your shoulders, might feel your torso doing something interesting as you do this movement a few times of pulling the abdomen up and in and widening the chest, expanding the rib cage. Doing it just a few times. And then come back, bringing your hand back to the other hand. Rolling yourself back. Rest there for a moment, take a breath. And then once again, follow your arm in an arc behind you, watching your hand. And just see if you feel like this is getting a little smoother or you're going a little further back behind you. You feel like you have a little bit more movement, that you're going a little further behind you. Can you feel comfortable there? A little further behind you. And pause there for a moment. And once again, pull the abdomen in and out. Let it, drawing it in, widening the chest. See if you can turn your head to see behind you. And then come back. Bring your arms together, your hands together. Bring one knee on top of the other. Just notice your breath while you're on your side. What do you feel? How do you feel your breath? Do you feel something new on that side of your rib cage, or maybe the other side of your rib cage? And please roll onto your other side, and we're going to do the same movement on your other side. Same positioning, knees are bent, palms are together. And you're gently going to bring your arm up and around, but not far, just towards the ceiling. But look at your hand. Don't do the movement unless your head's turning. All right, can you see your hand? Okay, just a simple movement. You're bringing your hand up and then back to your palm. Simple movement. Up towards the ceiling and back down to your other hand. And rest. Just rest. So it's not a continuous movement. You make the movement happen, and then you pause and rest with your palms together. That's it. And then bring your arm again in an arc behind you a little bit. You might again feel a pull where your right knee is starting to lift off the floor. Make sure that's comfortable. Hang out there. And if you can turn a little to look at your hand, if it's comfortable. And then from here, do the same movement of breathing out, drawing the abdomen in and up and expanding the chest. Stay there. Keep the arm hanging. Don't keep moving your arm, but just let your arm hang out behind you where it's comfortable. Can you see your hand? Or is it too far behind you that you can't see it? Make sure you're turned. And then when you're there, bring the abdomen up and in, and a few times expanding the rib cage. You might feel the arm moving, the sternum moving. You might feel a little bit of a change in the twist. And then bring your hand back down towards the floor to the other palm. and pause there for a moment. And just while you're there with your palms together, draw your abdomen in and widen your rib cage and just feel how that side opens. And then let that contraction go. Just notice your resting breath. And one more time, bring your arm in an arc and just see how far back you can go now. If you feel like your ribs and your chest and your side is feeling a little more stretchy or lengthened or pliable or something like that. And then please roll onto your back. And just take a moment to feel your breath. Just noticing you're resting. Inhale and exhale. And sensing, is this any different for you? What do you notice? How does your body breathe now? How does your whole body breathe? Just sensing the in and out of the breath through your nose, your front, your back, your sides. Just notice how everything feels all right up into the sternum, maybe into your armpits. You're feeling some movement. And then please roll to your side and come up to stand if you can. But just roll to your side and come up to stand. Just take a moment to feel what it's like to be upright now. What do you notice? What comes to mind when you're standing and breathing? Is there something more buoyant or more upright, or what's your balance? What does your balance feel like? And if you had one word to describe your experience, what would that be? What would come to you? Have a little walk around, just feeling your body move. And if you want to type in the chat your one word, please do. I would love to hear your one word or two words, whatever you want to write down. Love to hear what you experienced in this lesson. I also have entered the URL for my next free pop-up class next week. And we're going to be continuing on this theme of expanding spaces. Looser, nice, dynamic, relaxed, expansion, fuller and easier to breathe. Nice. Yes. I found it easier to breathe too. Elevated and light. Ooh, I like that. Different. Something is different. And sometimes we don't have words for sensation, do we? Sometimes it's hard to put your finger on. Don't have the language for it, but we do have a feeling, maybe an emotional sense of that lightness or that change. You feel more upright. Lovely. So as you can see, this can be, in 30 minutes, a very transformative lesson where you can get quite a bit out of your experience. As long as you take the time to settle in and listen carefully to yourself, and of course, do no harm, right? Mid lower back opened. Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's cool. And so often we get compressed. We get really compressed. Gravity pulls us down. We no longer breathe properly through all the lobes in our body. And if we've had some kind of injury to our lungs, or disease, that there might be areas in our lung tissue that we're just not opening up properly. And as I said before, this is so critical to our health and well-being as we get older, being able to breathe well. And so this series that's what we're focusing on. As Chrissy smoothly connected. And that's just from observing and breathing. Yes, amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. And thank you so much for joining in from all over the world. Thank you so much, Fritha, for being my spotlight. I really appreciate that. Thank you from Switzerland back. And thank you from Slovenia. Wow, that's wonderful. I think it's about 6 or 7 there in Scotland. Love it. I just love this. So amazing that we can connect from all over the world. Scotland, Mexico. Thank you. Beautiful. And if you have any questions, you can send me a request personally or in my Facebook private page, Balance and Breath, and you can reach out that way. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thank you for coming.